So I guess we're live. Welcome everybody. I don't think there's so many people watching live, but I guess you can watch it later on YouTube. So this is ZoukCast, a new experiment that we want to do. It's like a new talk show about Zouk, but a serious one, not well, maybe like a yellow press one, but let's see how it goes. So I am Antonio from Zouk Devils, and I will be hosting. Oh shit! I'm hitting myself. Problems on the live streaming. So ZoukCast. I was saying this is an experiment to do a talk show about Zouk. First of all, I'm Antonio from Zouk Devils. Excuse my English, my strong Spanish accent, but I learned English from watching TV, so I guess you can excuse me about that. And I will be hosting this show with DJ Nymph. Please, Nymph, say hi.
Hi.
So I am a Zouk dancer from Barcelona, Spain, and I guess that not a really known one, but slightly known from my social parties and from the Zouk Devils Summer Weekend Congress. What I want to do with this show is to talk about different things in Zouk. And for the first show, we have chosen a subject. It's the title is Brazilian versus non-Brazilian Zouk artists. And it's not that that we want to have them fight against each other. It's that we want to talk a little bit about the Zouk world and how all the nationalities play a role in it. Let me check one message I have from Javi, one of the. Okay, he's joining now. So, Nymph.
Yes.
First of all, I want to thank Sandra Velasco. She did a little bit of research for us for tonight's show. Mm-hmm. And we asked her to do a list of Brazilian and non-Brazilian Zouk artists in two famous congresses. One of them, the Prague Zouk Congress, hosted by Carlos da Silva, and the second one, the Dutch Zouk Festival, that it's going to happen in a few weeks. So what I found in this list of artists, we narrowed it down to just the Brazilian Zouk artists, not the Zouk Lambada or Lamba Zouk. But what I found is that more or less the percentage of Brazilian versus non-Brazilian is like 60 to 40%, right? But the most curious thing I saw is that mostly all the non-Brazilians are ladies.
Yes.
What do you think is that so?
I'm not really sure, but I think it's mostly like because more dancers outside of Brazil are mostly girls. So and most men that I know that dancing outside of Brazil, they are not so good dancer, but the ladies, the women, they are. So when they are a good teacher, they prefer to take outside of Brazil. They have only, I think, they have only one choice to take a girl as dance partner.
So, what do you think that guys are in general worse dancers than ladies? Or are you implying that?
Even if you go to Russia, you will see mostly, I think, 3 of the 10 dancers there are maybe men, and the rest are girls. So, and if there's a good teacher, a woman from outside of Brazil, because they can really dance good and the technique are good, the level of dancing is good.
Yeah, I guess that's like a thing for another show. Like, why always in a couple of teachers the male is the one that takes the lead on the teaching. But I guess it has some relation to that. But anyway, I see we have Brandon here in the list of the audience.
Yeah.
So related to this subject that we are doing now, it's like I would like to talk about the traditional versus non-traditional Zouk. He talked a little bit on Facebook. Maybe we can post the link on the comments of the video later. He was talking about the music. We in Zouk we dance to a lot of different shit, I will say, like from the traditional Zouk music to kizomba to dubstep and R&B and all the new sounds that we're using to dance Zouk. And where do you define where the traditional Zouk begins and ends for you?
Yeah, the traditional Zouk. If I listen, hey,
Welcome. Javi and Sam, they are joining us.
Yes. Yeah, the thing with traditional Zouk, when I listen to more the kizomba or the classic style of Zouk, that's for me more traditional. And if I listen more like when you start changing not only the beat, I think the beat of modern Zouk is still the same, like 2 jig jig or 1 2 3 or whatever. But the instruments, more digital instrument, you have influence of R&B kind of beats, dubstep kind of songs, house kind of sounds in the Zouk. That it's more, that's not traditional Zouk anymore. I think there starts some like the difference.
So you would define the traditional Zouk just on the beat?
No, I don't think it's only the beat, because in modern kind of Zouk you hear also the beat. But it's more the combination of all the instruments, all the like the singer, the way they sing, and it's for most beginner dancer. It's more clear. They hear the beat. It's more clear. And if I listen more to the modern remixes. It's different. What I hear mostly from beginners when they are dancing, it's difficult for them to hear the difference in the beat, in the tum chik chik or 1 2 3 or 3 1 2 or quick quick slow. And that's why I think for them it's easier and easier to dance on traditional Zouk than modern Zouk.
That's a thing I've been thinking about since I read Brandon Facebook post. There was one comment, I don't remember who did that comment, that said that whenever he found a Zouk scene that they started dancing straight to the... One moment. Javi, can you tune down your volume because you are jumping on the screen? Okay. And maybe you can check for the Hangout toolbox to put your name under the screen like we did while I'm talking about. Just check on the options. So what I was saying, there was a comment about the Zouk scenes where the dancers started dancing on different songs, not traditional Zouk. And the guy said like he thought that the level of the dancers was worse than whenever another scene that they started dancing with traditional Zouk music.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that's something that generally happens? Like the level is worse if you don't start with the traditional music for your beginner level?
I don't think it has some influence on the dancers. But if you start dancing, if you start teaching with like traditional Zouk, it's more clear for the beginners to find and to hear the beat. And for the more advanced dancer, they can dance on songs without beat, so they can be more creative and more open. But that's different for beginners. And sometimes I see people, I see Javi. Yeah, sometimes I see people just dancing on lyrical songs or just some noise, whatever it is, and they just using their imagination, their creativity to dance the Zouk on that music. That's really hard for beginner to follow.
Yeah.
That's why for them the traditional Zouk is still good to recognize.
So Javi, now that you have your name, do you have any opinion about this? Problem of the line transmission. We're not listening to you, Javi, so much. So let me check the control. Now? You need a new microphone. So I guess you're now as audience because we cannot hear you. So going forward with the talk, do you think, Nymph, that nationality has anything to do with the taste for traditional or new styles of music in Zouk?
I don't think nationality has something to do with it. What I see mostly, if like in Europe or like in Russia, people are more used to dance on modern music, so they didn't know traditional Zouk in the past, so they hear only their traditional music or some modern music. So for them, the modern kind of music like hip hop, R&B, house, those kind of music is more familiar and more they recognize it more to dance on. Then later, when people start dancing Zouk, and people from Brazil went to Russia or to Europe, and they introduced Zouk, and then the people start knowing, hey, this is different kind of music, this is Zouk. Some people like it and other people don't like it. But still, I don't think it's something that has to do with the nationality.
So going back to the nationality thing, can you name for me one artist that you thought he was Brazilian, but you realized he wasn't, or a good non-Brazilian dancer that you liked very much?
Yeah, there are a couple of them. The first I saw was Daniel Leticia.
Yeah.
And I also saw some women like Evelyn, Masha, Sophie. I thought they are, in the beginning, because I didn't know, I thought, hey, they are maybe Brazilians.
Yeah.
But they are not Brazilians.
Well, yes, Daniel Leticia, I know them a little bit. So they could pass for Brazilians if you didn't see the color of the skin, because they know how to speak Portuguese, and they learn from this Brazilian guy called Jeje. that was like a father for them. And that's another whole story that we can talk about in another show, like the history of Zouk and how there's this little branch of Zouk called now Zouk. Oops, I said the word. That comes from a different place than the rest of styles. But talking about JJ, I was with him like last weekend, and we were talking about this traditional versus non-traditional music. And you know, the guy is pretty old school, and he was saying to me like, oh, whenever they play this music that you like to dance nowadays, like with these strange sounds like he was saying, I don't know how to dance that shit. He was telling to me like, oh, I enjoy a little old Zouk song very much, but I cannot dance to this new music that you are playing on the parties. Mm-hmm. So, do you think it also has to do with age or the time that, or how long have you been dancing?
Yeah, age is also a thing. I'm also like 43, but I'm always open for
43. I guess people is now freaking out.
Yes, I'm also 43, and I didn't know dubstep or chill step or those kind of songs like 2 years ago, 3 years ago. I didn't know. I was listening to more traditional music or more hip hop or the kind of Zouk, and then I hear some friends of mine at work doing dubstep or listening dubstep music, and I was like, oh my god, this sounds really like noise. But the more I start listening to the music, the more I start understanding the music. So I think people that don't know dubstep kind of music or hard rock or other kind of music, and when they hear it for the first time, for them it's like noise. And once I hear a teacher or master saying the thing you don't know, it's always good to start learning it because it will open your mind more and learn more about everything that exists in the world. And so I start listening to the dubstep kind of music, and then I start feeling the energy that dubstep music or hard rock or chill step music has in the music, and that I start using in my remixes what I mostly do live. But I saw a lot of people are afraid because when they hear dubstep music or hard rock or other kind of music, they feel more aggressive, so they start dancing hard, and some people complain. So I did a couple of stairs or level. I did step backward.
You did it.
Yeah, to make them more like, okay, this is okay. Now I play mostly chill step remixes, hip hop, R&B kind of mixes. So more people are happy. I had a live set 2 weeks ago with Carlos, DJ Carlos Jans, and I was playing with him. And after the party, like Remy Dance Devil, you know him, he came to me and he told me like, hey, your set was pretty good, and he liked all my tracks. And after the party, I thought, I know those kind of people like Remy and some other, they didn't like my music before, but now they start liking it. But because I did also a couple of steps back, I don't play like hard dubstep, and they are also listening to more modern kind of music, so they are getting into the same kind of music. But still, traditional Zouk is still, they prefer more dance on traditional.
So let me go to the chat that we have in the YouTube page, because there's starting like a little discussion about what we are talking about. So Brandon, he says that he's really sad that we put an equal sign between traditional and beginner and old. So I just tried to clarify to him on the chat, but it's better if we do it on the video. We are not putting an equal sign. I'm just asking about opinion, and maybe there's some relationship. For in my case, I'm pretty old too. I'm 39 almost, and whenever I listen to some new heavy metal or metal thing that comes now, I feel like, oh, I don't like this. It's better like the old times, the 80s and the 90s. So I think age has something to be about musical taste. Uh, that doesn't mean that it's better or worse. It's just like it is for me. Also, Anthony, he says like we have to be clear that there's a difference between traditional music and traditional Zouk. Like a traditional Zouk is marked as Rio style Zouk love. Yeah, we were talking more or less about the music. And when we talk about the beginners, it's not that we associate, or at least in my opinion, we are not trying to associate the Zouk, traditional Zouk music with the beginner level. What I ask about is, do you think that beginners start to learn Zouk in a better way if they do it with traditional music rather than some modern styles? Because in my opinion and my observation, lately I've seen some people that they started dancing with some modern music without the Zouk beat, and I saw a slight different level with people that started with the traditional music because they don't do proper basics, and they are more prone to you know to do crazy stuff like when you go into contact improvisation, but without the proper basic. What do you think about that, Nymph?
Yeah. I did also some. I do also some a bit of contact improvisation. So those people are really just using everything. You don't have to find a beat. They can dance on everything. They are just creative. But even in my classes, if it was in Russia or here or whatever, and for beginners, it's always important because they don't know. They always ask me, "Hey, what is Zouk?" And when you start explaining them where it came from, all this history, and what Zouk is, the Brazilian Zouk, not the Zouk from Portugal or from Portugal, I think. When you start explaining them, then they start asking, but how can they find in the music the beat? And if you just play some alternative music, R&B, hip hop, dubstep kind of music, they cannot find clearly the beat. So, like the traditional Zouk, or what Brendan says, Rio style Zouk or Zouk love kind of music, if you play that, they can hear, and it's easy for them to follow. So, I think start first with easy music. Even if you put only sometimes I put only a drum beat with the chick chick tum chick chick for them to get into the rhythm. So the rhythm, when they once are familiar with the rhythm, like the tum chick chick or 1 2 3, then I start putting other instrument or some songs so they get more open and open. And when they are like 3 4 classes, then I show them other kind of music like R&B or hip hop, so they can know and they can listen and they can feel the difference.
But don't you think that in 3 or 4 classes people can get confused if you introduce some new musics with a slightly different tempo? Like the beat in Zouk is like tum chick chick tum chick chick, and R&B is more like tum chick chick tum chick chick. Yeah. So don't they get confused in so little time to get exposed to new beats?
They got confused, but I do it like short period. I just taste them. Like, yeah, you can taste this is different, so they know if they go to a party what they can expect. But during the classes, I play a couple of times modern music or alternative. But mostly during classes, I start to keep on the regular or the traditional or Rio style Zouk music, so they can learn, and then after a while, I just I changed my music and I show them different kind of music, so they're not stuck only to the traditional Zouk music, but they also listen to other kind, and I start playing with them in with other kind of music, so they are more open and more relaxed when they hear other music. And some people says to me like, hey, I like the other kind of music like R&B or dubstep music more. So so they can choose if they would like to dance on dubstep Zouk, they can dance. It's okay for me.
Okay. So, had you been in Brazil lately?
No.
No, because last and only time I went there, it was like 2008. So music was still pretty traditional there. With the new thing was Mafi Zucker. He was playing his neo Zouk thingy, but still on the parties, like 80% of the music was traditional Zouk, or what we call traditional Zouk. So I wonder how are the percentages now on the parties. Do you know something about that?
I think it's always difficult to say, and it depends also on the party, on the congress or the organizers, because there are some organizers here in Holland, for example. If they organize a party, I don't go, because I know they have DJs that are playing more traditional kind of music or kizomba kind of music or Rio style, so I don't go. And there are some other organizers, when they organize, they have different kind of DJs and they play more alternative or modern. And before I go to party, I also see what kind of DJs there are. So and on that party, there I will go. Um,
So Nayan and Anthony in the chat, they are saying that in Rio they mainly play kizomba. From 2013, Anthony said, Nayan said like 2 months ago, it's mainly kizomba. Do you think that because of this evolution that Zouk is taking, Brazilian parties and Brazilian organizers are trying to go back to the traditional style to make a stand on and to defend their own thing?
Yeah, it looks like, because Zouk is like getting a mess. When you see like in the beginning, they start dancing with Zouk love, easy kind of music, and people start liking it. And now Zouk is distributing a lot, and all different kind of styles are coming, or developing. And people get confused, like, hey, what is Zouk? Is Zouk like contact improvisation? Is Zouk like modern? Because sometimes they ask me, are you dancing modern or contact improvisation? So I think the organizers maybe in Brazil, but here also they're trying to go back to more Rio kind traditional kind of Zouk music to get more and more people on the dance floor.
Here we have a question from Nayan. He says like, so can you call ghetto Zouk and kizomba traditional Brazilian Zouk? He says that he personally does not agree, but for the conversation we're having now, I guess we are calling ghetto Zouk and kizomba traditional, not because they are the same thing, but because they share the beat, the basic beat for the traditional technique, you know.
Yeah.
And we don't want to make people confused about the different musical styles. Like the Antillian Zouk is a very different thing than that from the kizomba thing, at least in theory, and for a very educated ear. But what we mean by traditional Zouk is like the beat, the proper beat for the basic Zouk step.
Yeah. It can be kizomba, it can be ghetto Zouk or dark Zouk or whatever Zouk you call, with the easy knowing for beginners, easy listening to the Zouk beat, then they can clearly hear the Zouk, and it's not remixed with other kind of music like dubstep or R&B or hip hop or house or whatever. That's I say traditional Zouk. It can be Rio style Zouk, it can be black Zouk or soul Zouk or I don't know whatever it is.
So, in opposition to what's happening on Brazil, do you think that on the rest of the world we should push for a comeback of the traditional music, or we are in the right path, like maybe 50-50, like traditional and new styles, or maybe the percentage should be a little bit different? What do you think about that?
I was sorry, I was just typing some message on the YouTube channel. Can you repeat the question?
Yeah, I was saying, like, do you think that in the rest of the world we should go on the Brazil's path, like pushing back for more traditional music, or should we continue the path we're going with different percentages, like 50-50 or maybe 60-40? What do you think about that?
I think 50-50 is a good start, but depends also on your public. If you have organized a party when there's a lot of advanced dancers or dancers that like to dance on alternative music, and you have a DJ that can see that and he plays for the crowd, it's okay. But if there are more people that like the traditional Zouk or more kizomba kind of music or ghetto Zouk, organizers should be know like what kind of public he is expecting, and also invite the right DJ for it. And I don't think we have to follow the Brazilian, but we have to still find our own way to our public or to the audience that are dancing. Because people in Europe or outside of Brazil, there are still different kind of dances than in Brazil. In Brazil, they are more open. They are dancing from their child, from the baby, from the diaper. They start dancing, and people here outside of Brazil not so often. So it's still different kind of audience, I think.
Do you think that Brazilians are more open also to music?
No, not focus on music, but they are open for. They are moving their body. They don't care about who's looking or who's how it looks like. They're just feeling the music and they're just dancing. While people in Europe, what I mostly see, or in Russia where I was, they are more shy and they are more inside themselves, and to open them, to open them and to express their feeling in the dancing is difficult. And what I see in people like in Latin countries, it can be Brazil, it can be Spain, the thing where I came from also. We are more open to receive the music and to feel the music and dance on it. But European people, Russian people, not so open.
Yeah. So then I was reading the chat, and Anthony says that we need to be very careful on Brazilians. I don't know why. Brasilia was okay. Anthony, he is saying that the Brazilians that we see in Europe, the ones that travel, they have been studying a lot in schools. That not all Brazilians are good dancers. I agree with that. Not all Spanish know how to dance flamenco and that thing. But what I was trying to ask him is, now how do you as an organizer, how do you know which kind of public do you have, so you can hire the good DJs for your audience? Because for example, in Brandon's Facebook post, I talked to him like, well, if you keep dancing to the music, even if you don't like it, the organizer cannot know that you don't like it. So if people continue dancing on the parties, even they don't like the music, and they don't do like you do, that you don't go to the parties where you don't like the DJs.
Mhm.
How can an organizer know which DJs to hire?
Mostly when you are organizer, you build up an audience. From the beginning on, you build your audience. So at a certain point, you will see like, hey, what kind of people are coming to your party? And if people start complaining, you will also notice like, hey, my audience are complaining about some kind of DJ. So don't invite that DJ because he is playing more dubstep kind of music. So don't invite that DJ. So then that way you know for the next time, hey, this is my audience and I don't invite those kind of DJ. It's I think it's a learning way.
What happened? Nymph, you there?
Yeah.
Okay. It seems like I lost the signal for a while.
No.
So I'm reading again the comments, and they say that in Russia they are not so close, and also the men are good dancers. Nymph is saying that he meant Moscow, not Russia, because Brandon was talking about St. Petersburg. So I guess that we went to a different subject. We started with Brazilian versus not Brazilian, and we went to traditional versus non-traditional. I guess maybe it's somehow related. I don't know if the people on the chat has anything that they want for us to comment on, or they have any question to ask. By the way, Javi, I stopped your camera because you cannot speak with the microphone. So sorry. Next day we will try to check it before. Okay, so I guess that's all for today. Next week, or maybe in 2 weeks, depending on the work schedule of Nymph and me, we will have a new talk show. I hope everybody that watched live and all the people that watches it later enjoy the conversation. By the way, this is just our opinion. This is just entertainment. We don't want to give lessons or to make a stand against anything or against anybody. We're just talking a little bit. So if there's a question in the chat. How do you think the big names from Brazil who use this alternative music to dance on demos influence the people in their music preference? So the question is, how the performances with music that is not traditional influence the musical taste of the students or the audience? Nymph, what do you say about that?
Yeah, that's also one thing. Sometimes I see on a show like nice dubstep kind of music, or I see some other kind of music and more alternative music. And I think like, hey, this is nice music. It gives you a lot of energy, and that also influence dancers. Because sometimes when I play a song that they don't know, they start looking like, I don't know this song. What is it? But when they hear the same song on a show, and after it they hear on the dance floor, they start dancing because they have heard it before and they can feel the energy of the dancing. So it reminds me reminds them to the show how they dance, and that's also influence the dancers.
And do you think that a show should have more freedom in music than the social dance? Or do you think that it's the responsibility of the performers to use more traditional music? And that question comes from a guy that did 3 shows in the past, and none of them have traditional music on them.
Yeah. No, I think show has to be open. All the performer, people that are performing, and has to be creative and find the music that fits with the choreo, with the idea they have, and that's good to have different kind of music for your show. Because if you use the traditional or your style Zouk music, you cannot always express the idea or the feeling you have for a certain theme that you would like to put in a show. That's why it's good to use different kind of music. It can be classical music. It can what Evelyn and Sandy are using in their show, like classical music. Or sometimes I see Letitia and Daniel using some 3/4 beat, like waltz or R&B kind of beat. It's nice to see and how people are creative and using different music, not only traditional Zouk, to express their feeling and the idea they have for the show in their choreo.
Yeah. So I guess we agree on that. I think that the shows should be more free than the social dance. But as Anthony is saying here, maybe the percentage should be 50-50, not 80-20. In either way, because 80-20 just kizomba and maybe some different thing, or 80% dubstep, R&B, and everything else, and 20% just traditional, shouldn't be the percentage. In my opinion, of course, like I said. So to sum up, maybe we should in Europe push a little bit more for traditional music, and in Brazil they could play a little bit more of alternative music. But anyway, finally, or eventually, the audience will dictate what kind of music the organizers ask the DJs to play. Don't you think so?
Yeah, there's always two sides. If an organizer invite a DJ, he has to know what kind of music that DJ plays. And if he doesn't know what kind of DJ he's inviting, and he knows his audience, he can ask the DJ to play certain kind of music. But in my case, if someone invites me, I play mine kind of music. It's more mixed with dubstep, chill step, hip hop, R&B kind of thing. I mix them live, so I can change a song, like a vocal song or something that's more lyrical. I can put like a dubstep beat on it with dubsteps, drums, and some bass. I can put on it, and if I see audience are not dancing or they don't like, I can change instantly to like R&B kind of beat on it. And that's difficult for most people to understand. But that's something different. I still think good organizers should know their DJs, what they're inviting, and also the audience the organizer is expecting. And to make a good combination, it can be difficult.
Yeah, as an organizer, I can say to you that it's really difficult to have the perfect mix, yeah, and to have everybody happy. There's another question that this guy called give factor or something like that. Is asking to us, like, maybe the DJs are influenced by the music that the artists choose to perform on the shows. So do you play different music because you like what the artists are doing, or you dislike what the artists are doing on the shows? Are the DJs influenced by the music on the shows?
I don't think they are influenced by the show. Um, Most DJ, what I've seen, they prefer some, they have some musical taste by themselves, and they listen to, okay, the latest CD, the latest CD of Neo's, Zouk, or some other DJs, and they keep with them, and they are looking, still trying to look at the audience. And it's influence and the taste of every DJ. It's different, and I know most DJ are trying to do their best to look at the audience, but it's difficult. For me also, sometimes I just playing some song and I'm just into my stuff, and I completely lose the track over the audience. I'm just with my music. I'm busy, and I feel some energy, and I go with the energy, with the flow. And in the past, when I start DJing, I was completely like focused on my stuff, like all these knobs and all this stuff. But now more, I look to the audience like, hey, I listen, and I did a couple of steps back, and don't play that hard dubstep anymore.
I completely understand why you should be focused on your team, because if you see the shit this man has on the table, like the whole set of DJ Nip is crazy, and the guy, he's playing live, he's remixing live. He's not playing remixes, he's remixing while playing. So that's crazy stuff.
Yeah, it's totally different. I don't use remix songs that are already remixed. I use original tracks, vocal or some lyrical stuff, and then I put live the drum beats, or I mix some beats of other tracks like dubstep or chill step or R&B that I make by myself. All the beats I play, I program them before, and then I remix it live with some original tracks.
But so I have an idea for a new show. It's you can show to the people, to the audience, in a different day. How do you mix live, and can you explain your set a little bit? Like how do you do the things that you do?
Yeah, that's possible.
Have a date, man. Okay, guys. So I guess that's enough. It's almost 45 minutes or more. We'll be talking about Brazilian versus non-Brazilian and traditional versus non-traditional. So if nobody else says anything against that, I think we're finishing now. Again, like I said, thank you everybody for watching. Even you're one of the 8 users watching live now, or you watch it later. Thank you very much for watching. We hope you like it. We are looking forward for your comments. And again, excuse my English, but I will try to improve little by little. We will try to improve also the rhythm of the talk. Since this is our first experiment, we have some little problems. But I think it was quite good. So thank you, Nymph, for co-hosting with me.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And see you next week. Hope so.
Yes.
And goodbye, guys. Good night.
Okay, bye.